Welcome students. Welcome to the chapter 3, the basis of human behavior. In this chapter, you would be able to understand the evolutionary nature of human behavior, relate the functions of nervous system and endocrine system to behavior, explain the role of genetic factors in determining behavior, and understand the role of culture in shaping human behavior. So in this chapter, students will try to understand the physiological basis of human behavior, and later we will also try to understand the cultural basis of human behavior. Students, by understanding the biological aspects of human beings, you will be able to appreciate how the brain, environment and behavior interact to generate unique forms of behavior. So, students, as you know, we belong to the Homo sapiens species. So, we are the most developed organism among all creatures on this earth. So, we have the ability to walk upright. We have the largest brain size, and we have more specialized brain tissues, which makes us distinct from other species. So, these features have evolved through millions of years and have enabled us to engage in several complex behavior. So, in this chapter, we begin with a general description of nervous system in an evolutionary perspective. So, students, let's start with the concept of evolution. Now, if you think of our ancestors, how we evolved from the time of chimpanzees, what were the differences that have been able to come across from that time to now? You will be able to understand the whole process of evolution. So, students, biologists believe that these species were not always like this. They have evolved to their present form from their pre existing form. It is estimated that the characteristics of modern human beings developed some 2 lakh years ago as a result of their continuous interaction with the environment. So, let us try to understand the formal definition of evolution. So, evolution refers to gradual and orderly biological changes that result in a species from their pre existing form in response to the changing adaptational demands of their environment. So, these changes are physiological as well as behavioral changes that occur due to the evolutionary process. So, students, these changes are so slow that they became visible after hundreds of generations. So, that's why it is known as gradual and orderly biological changes. So, how does this evolution occur? So, students, the evolution occurs through the process of natural selection. So, now let us try to understand what is natural selection. So, students, the concept of natural selection is given by the Charles Darwin. So, Charles Darwin says that he talked about how the survival of fittest ensures which species is going to continue and what features of behavioral, biological as well as emotional are going to continue in the future. So, the traits or the characteristics that are associated with high rate of survival and reproduction of those species are the most likely ones to be passed on to the next generation. So, when repeated generation after generation, natural selection leads to the evolution of new species that are more effectively adapted to their particular environment. So, students, this is very similar to the selective breeding of horses or other animals these days. Breeders select the fittest and the fastest male and female horses from their stock and promote them for selective breeding so that they can get the fittest horses. So here Fitness means it is the ability of an organism to survive and contribute its genes to the next generation. So, students, the traits or the changes through which we have come across, or the changes we have got from our ancestors, they basically three major changes. First, there is a straight posture that we have. The chimpanzees is used to have a stoop posture which kept on becoming straight over the generations. So now we have a straight posture. Second is the brain structure as well as the brain size. Now our brain size and the brain structure is much larger than the rest of the body. The body weight, and as compared to the brain has a lot of structure within it, so that it is one major feature. Along with that, in the brain itself are the cerebrum or cerebral cortex. The cerebral hemisphere is one of the biggest and the most important ones in human. In animals, it is very smaller portion of it in the brain and less important, but in humans, it is most developed, and that is why human species are considered to be the most intelligent. The third feature talks about the way we hold things. It is it is very precise movement that we have, and it's not a gross one like animal used to do. We have a thumb. This is the most important and major feature. So that's all about the concept of evolution.